Trading at Schwab is now powered by Ameritrade, giving you even more specialized support than ever before. Like access to the trade desk, our team of passionate traders ready to tackle anything from the most complex trading questions to a simple strategy gut check. Need assistance? No problem. Get 24/7 professional answers and live help, and access support by phone, email, and in-platform chat. That's how Schwab is here for you, to help you trade brilliantly. Learn more at schwab.com/trading.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
A boy from the wrong side of the tracks.
Come on, Johnny. You're gonna ruin a good thing. I'm gonna get a good thing.
An all-American girl.
He is trash, Laura.
I don't think so.
You go out, your mother and I'll put you to convict.
You want to ride?
Together, their love is high octane. Natasha Gregson Wagner, Mark Dacoscos, Raymond Cruz, Tracy Lords.
You did. I did.
Dragstrip Girl.
We're not talking about actors. We mean a real monster.
I brought her back. She'll live and I'll get her another body.
I know they're gonna kiss me, but don't let anyone see me like that. Please, Doctor, help me!
Biologically speaking, it's of primary importance that man should want to mate. Hey, that...
You don't get all your kicks from surfing, do you?
We want to be free to ride our machines without being hassled by the man. And we want to get loaded.
You think you're gonna make a slave of the world? I'll see you in hell first!
The American International Podcast.
Are you ready?
You found the American International Podcast. I'm Jeff Markin.
I'm Cheryl Lightfoot.
And today's stop along Rebel Highway is Dragstrip Girl, the 7th episode.
Dragstrip Girl first aired on September 2nd, 1994.
Dragstrip Girl was written by Jerome Gary, directed by Mary Lambert, and produced by Lou Arkoff, Deborah Hill, and Willie Kutner for Showtime Networks.
Dragstrip Girl stars Mark Dacoscos as Johnny Ramirez, Natasha Gregson Wagner as Laura Bickford, Marie Celedonio as Pearl, Christopher Crabb as Alex, Raymond Cruz as Doogie, Frederick Coffin as Mr. Bickford, Tracy Lords as Blanche, Richard Portnow as Detective Dryden, Tracy Wells as Megan, Augusto Cesar Sandino as Anthony.
Also appearing are G. Adam Gifford as Evan, Carolyn McNeely as Mrs. Bickford, Gary Wernz as McCarthy, Luis Contreras as Raul, Bill A. Jones as Mr. Jones, Richard Ehrlich as Buddy, John Bradley as Jack, and Doug Toby as Louie.
As befitting a movie about drag strips and girls, the credits open with a vroom vroom sound and pictures from the showroom of a classic car show.
Also, the title Dragstrip Girl comes up, and this is the second time we've seen this. They used the exact same font that was on the poster for the title screen of the movie.
I didn't notice that, but I did notice that it seemed like very basic TV fonts from the mid-90s. They didn't really seem like movie fonts at all. And I know it's a TV show, but it's like they didn't even make the effort to give it the appearance of being cinema.
Well, because they were giving it the appearance of the font on the poster.
I'm not talking about the style. I'm talking about the quality of the graphics.
Oh, yeah. It looks like it's just early character generator.
Right. Yeah. Good old CG. So anyway, we're seeing really cool cars, but they don't really have a lot to do with this movie.
No, it's just kind of a quick car montage to play over the opening credits.
And we hear the song Lights Out, performed by Los Lobos. Who did that originally?
The original was by Jerry Burns.
Well, this is a really good version.
Yeah, it's a nice rockabilly beat.
Which is good because we're going to hear it again and again.
The song ends and the movie starts. Car hop, his name is Johnny, we can tell because it's written on his shirt. Otherwise, we probably have no idea who anybody's name is in this movie.
This movie seems very committed to not letting us know who the characters are.
And Johnny is grinding a key.
At first, that's all we see is him making this key. And I was like, well, does he work at Home Depot? What's his job? And then it pulls back and we see that he's a valet outside a supper club. And this is set in the 50s, like all these movies are. So he's parking these really fancy 50s cars, convertibles, Cadillacs, Thunderbirds, really nice cars. And if he's making a key, out in the open like that, he's obviously up to no good. Why would you need to make copies of your customers' keys?
Well, if you're a valet and you lose your keys, it's really embarrassing. So maybe it's just insurance.
Yeah, right. I guess that would be a plausible explanation, maybe, because they're not trying to hide it at all.
Well, that would be the only plausible, honest explanation for that. Anyway, one of his coworkers comes up. Coworker and friend, this is Doogie, and he tells him that Cinderella is waiting for her car.
Cinderella is a girl that Johnny has had eyes on for a while. He doesn't know her and she doesn't know him, but he's smitten nonetheless. She's just a pretty girl. She's with her boyfriend in a Letterman jacket and her parents. But I guess she drove herself because the car that Johnny sent to fetch is her Thunderbird.
Yeah, and he kind of ramsacks it before he goes to return it to her. He goes to the glove compartment and cribs the address off her registration.
So we know that he's got his stalker plan in action. He's not going to say hello to her. He's going to go find her in the dead of night, whether she wants to see him or not.
Johnny's not ready to confront this girl just yet, so he sends Evan with the car to return it.
Johnny goes back to the valet station where his friend Doogie tells him that this girl is ice and he doesn't have what it takes to melt her.
Then Laura, the girl, gets into the driver's side and her date, Alex, gets into the passenger side and they drive off. And she drives to kind of a lookout point with a nice view of the city.
Isn't that the same one that's in every movie where two people go to be alone, but also want to see all of Los Angeles in one view? It seems like we see that in lots of movies.
Well, Los Angeles has places like that, and a lot of cities don't.
I have never been there, but I would like to go.
Alex takes the opportunity to make a move and says that it's okay because they're going to be getting married.
I don't think she's convinced of that because she shuts him down right away.
She lights up a cigarette, and this seems to totally turn Alex off.
He's obviously someone who wants to control her. He's an athlete, he's a jock, and he's probably not used to hearing no because once you're a big star athlete, people do what you want them to do. And Laura's not going to comply.
So he tells her that they better be getting back because her father told him to come back right after dinner anyway.
But she's going to finish her smoke first.
Sometimes you're worse than he is, she says.
So obviously Dad is controlling as well. And I have to just appreciate this moment where we get to know a little bit about her character because it's not something this movie does in abundance.
No, there's not a lot of character development in this film for anyone.
No, not at all. So that's it. That's all you need to know about Laura. Back at the restaurant, the valets are getting their pay for the evening. And as we suspected, they have a side hustle, stealing cars and selling them for parts. So the first order of business is to make use of that key that Johnny was making at the beginning of the movie.
Apparently, getting the address from the registration is a regular part of this, so they know exactly where to go.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to this neighborhood and have no trouble lifting that car.
Well, yeah, you have the key. It's not like they have to hotwire it.
So Johnny's driving that car, Doogie's driving Johnny's car, and they race down the street, and a cop car sees them and gives chase.
Of course, there has to be a confrontation with the police here, because otherwise it would be smooth sailing, and we can't have that.
It's still pretty smooth sailing because they get to an intersection. Doogie goes right, Johnny goes left, and the cop kind of just spins out and gives up.
Yeah. That's all it takes to thwart the police. Just split up and drive at a normal speed. Doogie's the one driving the hot car, so he's the one to drop it off at the chop shop. And that's run by Raul, who has help from Pearl, who just runs up into the garage once Doogie brings the car in. But Pearl's not Doogie's girl.
The owner of the garage, Raul, asks where Johnny is. Doogie tells them Johnny is out using diversionary tactics.
Raul has money for Johnny, and Doogie says that Raul can give it to him, but Raul's not going to deal with Doogie. I don't think they have a very good relationship, at least not yet.
Then we catch up with Johnny. He's driven out to check out Laura's house.
Obviously, he wasn't going to wait on the intel he got from her glove compartment. It's dark. There's no one in the driveway, so he just walks up to the car and decides to do a little more ransacking. He finds her diary on the floor of the car and picks it up and takes it with him. As stalkers go, I think he's a pro. But then why would you leave your diary in your car?
A convertible, no less.
Right. Stupid. It's not the last time I'm going to say stupid in this synopsis.
So Johnny drives home, and we find out he's got a kid brother named Anthony, and he's in a wheelchair.
He has polio, but don't feel sorry for him because he's got a great hobby. He puts car parts together for fun, and he's really good at it. Also, he has another hobby that's a little more salacious.
What's that?
Well, there's a hole in the wall between his room and the tenant next door.
Kind of then, she's like their foster mother.
It doesn't matter. All right, so next door, there's a prostitute played by Traci Lords. Her name is Blanche. She's also a friend of the family / honorary aunt, but that doesn't stop Johnny and Anthony from peeking through that hole when she's turning tricks and enjoying the show. And it's quite a show, given that it's Traci Lords in there.
So after a minute of watching their aunt undress, Johnny tells Anthony that he met a girl. She's beautiful, sexy, and goes to a private Catholic school for rich kids.
And he has her diary.
But Johnny's had quite a day and he's tired, so he's going to go to bed.
In the only bed that this room has.
When he wakes up the next morning, Anthony is sleeping in his chair.
Aww.
And Johnny throws a blanket over him.
Of all the things I didn't like in this movie, and there's a lot, I didn't like that the most. This poor kid could use a bed. Why can't Johnny sleep on the floor? That's his little brother. He's got polio. He's not in great shape. Sleeping in a wheelchair just seems really neglectful. He goes next door to talk to Blanche.
This is where we learn she's been fostering them.
She was friends with their mom. Their mom died, and she made sure that they didn't have to go into foster care.
And this is where also they reveal that Anthony has polio.
And then he needs to go to occupational training. Some authority or other has decreed that this must happen, but Johnny's not interested. He wants to get a mechanic shop. I guess you buy one, you set one up, and then have Anthony run it because he's a mechanical genius.
Well, Johnny does have a safe in the wall where he puts all of his tip money and his pay. So he's keeping that. He's saving up to make this dream a reality.
It's not just tip money and pay. It's the money he gets for the stolen cars.
Oh, yeah, all of his money.
So it's a lot of money. Wait do you see what it gets used for?
Their conversation is interrupted by a rattling sound from the next apartment. Blanche says that Anthony's engine is driving her crazy and can't Johnny just buy him one? Johnny says no, but Anthony's building can't be bought.
Well, he is a genius. And Blanche warns Johnny to take it easy on his car stealing activity because if the cops start sniffing around their place, she's a prostitute. She's going to get in trouble and that's going to be bad for everyone. Well, it's going to be bad for her.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Okay, now a little glimpse into Laura's life.
Yeah, we cut away to that rich kids Catholic school where Laura is in archery class.
It doesn't look like real archery.
It doesn't. She has a bow and arrow, so it must be archery. I'm not sure what else it could be.
Wasn't there a Cupid on the target? It looked like funfair archery. It didn't look like legitimate archery. This movie is just ridiculous.
I didn't notice anybody else with a bow and arrow either, so you might be right.
I thought they were at some sort of afternoon festival or something. I couldn't tell. A lot of stuff that happens in this movie, you have to figure out what's happening as you go because there aren't obvious cues as to where you are and what's going on. So here's another one that kind of slid past me and eventually I figured it out that they were at school.
And Johnny and Doogie are sitting on the fence.
It's like a big stone wall type fence.
Right, and they climbed up the top and they're watching.
Ugh.
So they've gone up there to do their stalking.
Johnny is 21 and Laura is a high school girl. She might be a senior. She might be 16, 17, but Johnny's a full grown man. And he's sitting on top of the wall to a Catholic girls' school, staring at the students. So totally cool.
Doogie doesn't see what Johnny sees in this white girl.
He calls her a skinny little girl in a uniform. She's rich, white, and country club connected. Johnny may want that, but Doogie thinks that what Johnny wants is totally going to destroy their business of stealing cars.
Johnny and Doogie climb into Johnny's car, along with Evan, who didn't climb up the wall with them, and then they drive away and pull into an alley. And they're looking over a red convertible.
Johnny wants to impress Laura. He's going to pretend to be something he's not. And his car, though it is pretty fast and pretty furious, is not good looking. It's a dinosaur skin car. That's what he calls it. So he wants to pick her up, not that they have a date or anything, and he can't do that in a car that's not impressive. But he has found one that will fit the bill.
But Doogie reminds him that they don't touch nothing for 4 weeks. They just stole those cars last night and they need to have a cooling off period between jobs.
That seems smart. And I think that we've seen that in other movies of this genre where you can't just go on a crime spree. You have to pace yourself. I don't think it was the original Dragstrip Girl. I think it was Reform School Girl, where the bad guy, he was getting reckless and Johnny's going to get reckless. And that's a problem. And it's kind of funny that Doogie, who's more of a hood than Johnny is, supposedly, is the true voice of reason and the brains behind this outfit. He's not the star, but he's a lot smarter than Johnny.
Johnny's not worried, though, because he knows that the owner of this car won't get off work until 5, and he can take it and even have it back by then. Not that he will. So he tells Doogie to take his car and to meet him later.
Meet him at the flats, and they'll drag race this afternoon.
So Johnny takes the car and then goes to show it off to Laura, who's just coming out of school. She's with her friend Megan, who reminds Laura that they have other obligations.
Laura doesn't care, though. She's going to throw caution to the wind and climb in the convertible with this complete stranger.
So Laura tells Megan to meet her at her house in an hour. 2, says Johnny. An hour and a half, Laura says, and Megan warns Laura that certain people won't be happy about this.
Laura's tired of her perfect little boring life, which is controlled by people who aren't her.
Then Megan climbs into her car and drives off.
So now it's the little getting to know you portion of this date, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, they both actually introduce themselves because they haven't formally met.
Nope, she's never seen him before now, and of course he's been eyeing her for who knows how long. Johnny lies and tells Laura that he runs one of his rich father's businesses, and she buys this.
He asks her how she likes going to the school, and she says she goes there because of her daddy. Hearing this, he compares her to Cinderella, and she agrees that's a pretty accurate analogy.
I do not, though. Cinderella, as we first meet her, is the daughter of a neglectful father whose wife turned her into a scullery maid who lives in the attic and has no friends or no contact with the outside world. So I don't think there's any Disney analogy that would work here.
No, maybe played it backwards.
They're off to the dam, also known as Sepulveda Flats, also known as their drag racing haunt.
And she's cool with this.
She likes an adventure. She's never had one before, apparently.
When they arrive, Doogie is already there with Johnny's car. Pearl is riding with Doogie, so Johnny and Doogie each have a female passenger with them.
A ride or die.
And they race.
It's not a very exciting race. It doesn't last very long.
No, something blows on the car that Doogie is driving.
Johnny's car. It's not that he can admit it in front of Laura.
So Johnny wins the race, and then he has to go back and figure out what's wrong with his car. He tells Laura he'll be right back, and he asks Doogie what happened. Doogie says he hit something, and the engine started smoking. So Johnny crawls under the car to take a look, and while he's under there, Laura takes the opportunity to check her makeup.
And Pearl takes the opportunity to read Johnny the riot act. She's Johnny's girl, or at least she thought she was. Johnny wants to shut her up, so he promises that they'll fix whatever's wrong tonight and goes to take Laura home. He must have fixed that car pretty fast, because this whole scene takes a minute. Laura declares that this is the most fun she's ever had. I guess rich people don't do fun things? This is pretty sad. This tiny little race in the afternoon is the most fun she's ever had? Really? Yikes. And Johnny says, well, now you're a Dragstrip Girl. I think that line was just so that we could justify the title, because she's not a Dragstrip Girl now, and she's not a Dragstrip Girl ever in this movie. She went to one drag race. She'll go to another one. The end.
So Johnny takes Laura home, and Laura noticed that she didn't have to tell him where she lived. But Johnny doesn't have to explain himself because Alex and Megan are outside waiting.
Alex looks mad.
Laura explains that Johnny gave her a ride home. Alex doesn't buy that this is all that happened. For 2 hours? You must not know your way around if you took 2 hours to get here.
Alex tells Johnny to go back where he came from for the rest of his life. But Johnny says that Laura needs to decide if she ever wants to see him again. Alex agrees with this, but says if Johnny does come back, he's going to have to face Alex.
Johnny smiles, says that would be his pleasure, and hops back into his car and drives off.
Alex says that Johnny's trash, but Laura disagrees.
And Megan says that he dresses like a hood.
He's not wearing a suit jacket, though. I don't know where these people get their ideas of what hoodlums look like. Not from AIP movies, that's for sure.
So Johnny goes to that garage/chop shop to hide his hot car, and Pearl's there, and she confronts him.
She's a little irked at being summarily dumped for this white girl. She reminds him that they're Mexican.
And that he's poor.
Yeah, and they're not free to do what they want whenever they want, like rich people can. Although apparently rich people don't have funds, so I think they have one up on rich people because they go drag racing. And then she softens and says that someone needs to take care of him, and she'll be happy to do that. And that involves taking her skirt off and leaning against that red convertible.
Johnny goes back to her to retrieve that skirt that she dropped.
It almost looks like they're about to do it on the hood of the car, but Johnny has second thoughts. He's got someone else in mind, not Pearl.
So he pulls back, and Pearl tells him that he can't just leave this car here. He tells her to make sure that Raul doesn't break it down for a few days. Then they get into another argument about Laura. Pearl says she loves Johnny for who he is, and Johnny says Laura will love him for what he can be.
That's provided he can use her to get a leg up in the world. In the garage, we hear that it's starting to storm, and that means the guy whose car got stolen is going to come out a little earlier than 5 o'clock, because it's a convertible and he was going to put the top up. And it wasn't there, so he called the cops.
So Detective Dryden is on the case, and he's questioning the man about his missing car, and the man is hopeful that they can find it soon.
Detective Dryden asks the man where he's been recently, and the man says that last night he went to the supper club where we know Johnny works, and Detective Dryden takes that information down.
That night, Detective Dryden goes to the supper club to question Johnny, and he asks about Johnny's key grinder. Johnny simply says he's a businessman.
What's funny is that Doogie is there listening to all this, And it seems like it's all that he can do to keep from laughing out loud. He's having a good time with this interrogation because he's not involved, although he kind of is, but nobody knows that.
The detective says that a man's car was stolen after he had had dinner there. Stolen from here? Asks Johnny. No, stolen later, says Dryden. Johnny says he doesn't know anything about it, but if he hears anything, he'll be sure to let the detective know.
Detective Dryden gives Johnny his card and leaves, and Doogie warns Johnny that his luck is about to run out. Later on, supper club aficionado Alex exits the restaurant. He's with his buddy, possibly buddies, because we'll see two of them later, and spots Johnny.
And recognizes Johnny from the other day. He tells his buddy that Johnny pretended to be a hotshot, but it turns out he's just a car hop.
Aw.
His friend says that it appears that he may need a lesson in respect.
RESPCT. Find out what it means to them. So it's after Johnny's shift, and we're in an alley. Johnny's walking to wherever he's going, his car, I guess. Suddenly some headlights turn on. It's Alex and his friends. They get out of the car and confront Johnny.
3 against 1, asks Johnny. No, just me, says Alex. And then Alex beats the snot out of Johnny and warns him to stay away from his girl.
All 3 of them beat him up, though. It was 3 against 1.
I thought the other 2 stood back.
They kind of passed him around. Everyone got a lick in.
So after Johnny makes his way back home, he goes inside and Anthony asks what happened. He simply says that the boyfriend's jealous. And not to worry, it's just a bloody nose.
It looked like they got his cheek, though. His nose looked fine.
But Anthony tells Johnny not to worry because she's tired of him.
How does he know?
He reads.
He reads, man. At first I thought it meant like he reads romance novels or something, but then I realized Anthony has been poring over Laura's diary.
Johnny adds tonight's wad of cash to the wall safe, and then notices that there are noises coming from the next room, so he peeps in to see Blanche working on some guy.
The guy is a roofer, and he's talking about his business. Apparently this is part of the seduction, or at least part of his road to excitement. So Johnny listens to this, and this is going to be important later, so I'm mentioning it.
Then Johnny creepily asks Anthony if he's ever thought about being with her. No way, she's our aunt, says Anthony. But she's not our blood, says Johnny. And he goes on to say that she's 28 and she's perfect.
Oh, this scene is so icky. I wonder if she knows they're watching her all the time. They're not quiet about it. They're laughing and making comments. And this isn't just a peephole in the wall. It's a big chunk of drywall is missing between the 2 rooms.
The next morning, when Johnny wakes up, Anthony is already awake and sitting in his chair reading.
So he doesn't have a bed.
Anthony asks Johnny what Laura looks like, and Johnny tells Anthony to tell him. Anthony says that he thinks she looks like the Virgin Mary.
And Anthony knows how Johnny can get this Virgin Mary. It's in the book.
Yep, it's basically an instruction manual.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Now we're back at the flats, the drag strip, where Doogie and Johnny go every day to race their cars, even though only one of them has a car, at least that they own.
Laura drives up, and Johnny asks her where her fella is, and she says that he's at the club playing golf. And she asks Johnny where his car is. He explains it's in the shop, so she offers him a ride.
That's actually true, but not in the way that she's going to interpret it. They go up to a hilltop, and Johnny has a gun, and he's showing it off to Laura.
And he teaches her how to shoot, and they do a little practicing. And then they kiss. They go back to Laura's car, and they kiss.
They're in broad daylight, making out in public. I thought somebody for sure was going to drive by, somebody that knew Laura or Johnny.
No, somebody drove by, and they stopped to look at the car, but then they turn to each other, and they kiss.
But not anybody that mattered to the plot. That's what I meant.
After a while, Laura says she's got to go. If she doesn't go now, she'll never leave him.
Johnny's okay with that, but that doesn't move the plot along very much, so off we go.
So she's going to take him back to pick up his car. The garage is closed, but Johnny says that the manager's in the back and he'll have no trouble going back there and getting it. And she asks if she'll see him again. He says sure if she wants to. She suggests Saturday, but Johnny has to work.
He suggests Friday, but that's football and she's a cheerleader.
So Johnny agrees on Saturday. He owns the business, so I guess he could take off if he wants.
And he's going to pick her up at 8 o'clock. Laura takes off, and then we go in the garage, alone, where Pearl is polishing the Cadillac, and Raoul is there, and Pearl rats Johnny out.
Yeah, she tells him all about the car that she's waxing. It's hot, and Johnny stole it and didn't follow procedures. Not only didn't he wait 4 weeks, he did it just to impress a white girl.
Gasp. She recommends that Raoul give Johnny's jobs to Doogie. Doogie follows procedures. Raoul is skeptical, though. Now we're back at Johnny's apartment. Anthony and Johnny are once again spying on Blanche as she attends to a well-dressed and well-connected John who can help her meet Frank Sinatra. Johnny looks at the man and decides that he needs to dress like that. Anthony points out that this man looks like he's the same size as Johnny. So Johnny sneaks into Blanche's room and steals the man's suit while he's in bed with Blanche.
And then we cut away to Laura's house. In Laura's room, she's showing her friend Megan the outfit that she's planning on wearing.
She's admiring her own reflection in a mirror. She's wearing black panties and a strapless black bra. Megan is scandalized at this underwear choice. Laura says that no one's going to see that unless she lets him, and that she's thinking of maybe doing that. Megan asks what Alex is going to think about that, but Laura doesn't care. She's hoping that whatever Alex thinks might be the end of their relationship.
Laura also says she's going to tell her father that Johnny is Megan's cousin. Her father loves Megan and Megan's family, so he'll automatically get that stamp of approval. Megan, however, still thinks that Johnny's a hood.
Laura puts on a slinky red slip and leaves, so we will never see her wear this again.
Back at Johnny's apartment, he's ironing the shirt that he stole while Anthony reads passages aloud from Laura's diary.
All Laura wants is to live in a cabin in the woods with the man she loves. We've seen a lot of movies where cabins in the woods are not romantic at all. Johnny thinks this is a corny idea, but maybe he's going to make it come true. Anthony asks Johnny if Laura has a friend for him, and Johnny says he'll check. Man, this is so weird. This kid looks like he's about 14, maybe that old. There's so much that's inappropriate in this movie.
So next, Johnny goes to the garage to pick up his red convertible. He's dressed to the nines with the uniform of a hood, that jacket and tie.
It's too big, though. He's not that guy's size.
Raul's there and tells him that he can't take the car. The car's not leaving unless it's leaving in 1,000 pieces because the cops have been crawling the city looking for it.
Johnny whips out his gun and convinces Raul that, yes, he is going to take that car. But the price that Johnny's going to pay is that he's no longer Raul's associate. He's his enemy. Raul says, I'm looking at a corpse in a red Cadillac.
That's a risk Johnny's willing to take, so he jumps in the car and drives off. We return to that supper club where Detective Dryden is continuing his investigation for that stolen car. They must not have a whole lot of crime in this town because this one stolen car, even though cars seem to be stolen all the time under this operation, at least every 4 weeks, seems to be the most important thing on the police docket.
It's an all-consuming case for sure.
Anyway, he goes and takes possession of the key grinder. Evan tries to tell him that he can't take it. It's private property. The detective asks whose property, and Doogie volunteers that it's Johnny Ramirez, owner of the franchise, and then offers up his home address as well. Detective Dryden tells Doogie to tell Johnny that he's looking for him.
So it's date night. Johnny's in talking to Mr. Bickford and impressing him with his tale of running a roofing business. He cribbed it from one of Blanche's customers. We heard him talking about it earlier. And so that this accounts for his fantastic tan, even though he gives his last name, Ramirez, with no indication that he's of any ethnicity whatsoever. And Mrs. Bickford is just sucking down a martini. She looks like she's already 3 or 4 in as we speak.
Laura comes out to join them, and she's got it pretty easy because Mr. Bickford has given Johnny his seal of approval.
She looks all pretty in pink. Mr. Bickford says she looks amazing, and then Johnny and Laura leave.
Then Mrs. Bickford asks her husband if he thinks Johnny is Mexican, and Mr. Bickford just laughs. He's Megan's cousin. He's not Mexican.
His name's Ramirez. That's not Mexican.
Out in the car, Laura asks what they're going to be doing tonight. Johnny says they're going downtown to see some friends. And in that case, Laura wants to change. She can do it here, as long as Johnny promises not to look.
And so in the driveway of her own house, she starts taking her clothes off. I guess she had another outfit tucked in her purse because she puts on this kind of off-the-shoulder top and red shorts or tight red skirt or something. So she's wearing something very casual as Johnny's wearing a suit. And they go downtown to a salsa club where all the women are dressed to the nines. They're wearing dresses. They're dancing. And Laura sticks out like a sore thumb in this stupid outfit.
And this club turns out not to have been the smartest place to go because although all of Johnny's friends are there, this includes Pearl, Raul, and Doogie, who aren't on friendly terms with him at the moment. Laura runs off to the ladies' room and Doogie goes over to talk to Johnny. Doogie tells him that the cops came around asking questions and they took that key machine. Johnny says that's okay, he can just get another one. But that's not the point. They had a good thing going and Johnny is risking it all over some white girl.
Then Pearl comes up to Johnny and tries to dance with him. And then Raul comes to growl at him. But Johnny wants to dance with Laura, who's returned from the ladies, and they dance for about 30 seconds until the cops arrive.
Evan warns Johnny that the police are coming, so Johnny asks Evan to take Laura to the school, and he'll meet her there in half an hour.
Johnny sneaks out the back, gets into his Cadillac, and eludes the cops, because nobody had eyes on that car, and Evan drives Laura out to the school, and Laura asks why the cops are after Johnny. Evan doesn't really let her in on anything, though.
When they get to the school, Johnny's already there, so Evan drops her off and drives off. Laura asks Johnny what that was all about, and he says that he was betrayed by people that he thought were his friends. And since we're here, she might as well show him around the school.
He's already inside the gates, and she's outside the gates. So she has to climb over the gate to get in, and he helps her. But why didn't he just wait for her outside the gates? I guess so he could hide in case something went down. But yeah, they break into the school, and they go to the gym, and Johnny asks Laura what she does there. Gymnastics, she says.
He asked her to show him, so she climbs up on the balance beam and does a cartwheel, and that's gymnastics.
That's the demonstration. That's all you get. She offers to show Johnny how to do that, but he's not interested. He's also wearing a suit. He's not really geared up for that. She does want to show him how to do a back bend, has him bend backwards into her arms, and of course they fall down on the mat so they can make out some more.
Then she quickly gets up and tells him to follow, and they go to a bomb shelter.
To await the end of the world, as you do.
She asks if he thinks the world's going to end, and he says yes.
So naturally, this is when they would have sex, and they do. It takes her a little bit to get there because she's scared. He tells her not to be scared. He doesn't tell her why not to be scared.
She asks him if he will always tell her the truth. He lies and tells her yes, and they continue.
Their sexual interlude lasts all of 35 seconds, after which Laura declares, "That was a lot."
But they've got to go. It's late.
It's funny, they show the ceiling pipe just dripping for no apparent reason in this scene. Is that supposed to be symbolic of something? They made a point of us watching that. Back at Laura's house, she's changed back into that dress that she left in. But her dad comes charging out the door, followed by Alex. Seems like everybody's drunk and angry.
Alex makes sure everyone knows that Johnny's just a car hop driving around in a stolen car. Johnny tries to get into it with Alex, but Alex says he's got to take care of Laura right now. Hide behind her skirt, you mean, says Johnny. But they agree to meet at the flats by the dam in 2 hours.
They're going to race it out in the true tradition of car movies. And at this point, we know that Laura knows who Johnny really is. Johnny's not trying to deny it. So Laura knows that she's been duped, and I guess we'll find out if she cares or not.
Well, not necessarily, because we go inside and Laura is telling her father that that car wasn't stolen. She's seen him in it twice. Then he stole it twice, her father says. Then he warns Laura that she better not go out with that Mexican again.
If she even tries to see him, he's going to put her in a convent.
So he may be a car hop, but she doesn't necessarily believe the car is stolen just yet.
Because all car hops can afford classic Cadillac convertibles.
Meanwhile, Johnny pulls that Cadillac into Raul's garage, and he finds it empty, except for Pearl. And she asks, what does he think he's doing?
He wants to leave the car there, but Pearl says that there is no more there. They have to move on. That car is so hot that no one will touch it, not even the parts.
Pearl says the best thing to do is just dump the car and take the loss, but Johnny needs to race tonight. He could use his own car. Anthony could fix the engine and make it work real good.
Pearl thinks that Johnny's being stupid, especially dragging his innocent brother into his mess.
Johnny says that racing is a matter of honor, but Pearl says it's a matter of life and death at this point. He says he's going to go get Anthony, and Pearl still tries to make the relationship work.
She says it's not too late for them. This girl's pathetic. Back at Laura's house, Mr. Bickford drunkenly threatens Laura, who's dressed like Natalie Wood in Rebel Without a Cause for some reason, and she's headed out. "If you go out, you're not coming back," slurs her father.
She goes out, and he says he's calling the cops. Out of the flats, Anthony is working on the motor to Johnny's car. He'll get it running real good. And Laura drives up, and she asks Johnny why he lied to her. And he explains it was because he was a car hop who lives in the slum, and he's from the wrong side of the tracks, and if he told her the truth, well, Megan wouldn't approve.
She says that she wouldn't mind.
Johnny says that Laura cares more what Megan thinks than she thinks she does. And anyway, he saw her, and he went after her. "You sure did," she giggles.
She's a silly, silly girl. Johnny introduces her to Anthony, and there's a mutual liking between the two of them. But now Alex is here, and it's time to race. Laura gives Johnny a good luck kiss.
Then she goes over to stand with the other onlookers.
I think she's on Team Johnny. I think there are two camps here. She's with Johnny's friends, which include Anthony and some other people that we don't know. There's another group watching, and that's Alex's friends. I thought it was going to be Laura taking off her scarf and using it to start the race. They avoided that cliche. They just have some dude with actual racing flags out between the two. They have barrels in between the two of them. They light them all on fire. So on either side of these fiery barrels, they're racing. So one guy stands at the head of that and waves the flag, and the race is on.
And they're racing, and they're driving. Then for some reason, Alex loses control of his car and spends about 12 seconds trying to regain it.
Was it that long?
Maybe it's a slight exaggeration, but it was longer than it should have, considering the outcome.
It seemed to me that he turned his car directly into the audience, and everyone who could run runs away, leaving only Anthony stuck in his wheelchair to get hit by the car. And I'm sorry, but this was so funny. I laughed so hard at this scene because we see it from Anthony's point of view where the car's coming up and then we see the car approaching him, and it's ridiculous the way this is done. I'm sorry, but it's unintentionally hilarious.
Well, to add insult to injury, Alex slams into Anthony and then sends him down the hill.
I kind of remembered Mac and Me, the scene where the kid flies off the cliff in his wheelchair. And it's not supposed to be funny, but I couldn't stop laughing.
Alex staggers out of the car, and Johnny runs down to check on his brother, and Laura follows Johnny.
Alex feels like he's to blame here, but Johnny feels like he's to blame here. Well, for a second anyway.
Is everybody all right? Calls out Alex from the top of the hill. No, you killed him. Johnny pulls out his gun and starts shooting aimlessly toward the top of the hill. The crowd disperses, and Laura pulls Johnny to her and hugs him.
Yeah, nobody got hit by that barrage of bullets. So the Chekhov's gun theory that I had here didn't play out. Nobody got killed with that gun.
Laura tells Johnny not to blame himself. He tells her that he and Anthony were going to have their own mechanic shop. He reaches down and picks up the diary that was laying beside Anthony's body. I never read it, says Johnny. You should have, says Laura. He did, says Johnny. He was kind of in love with you.
Then we hear sirens. Laura tells Johnny that he better run. No one's going to benefit if he's in jail. And I don't know about that. Might society not benefit if this person is in jail?
Johnny tells Laura about the wall safe with the cash and tells her to tell Blanche to use it for the funeral. She agrees to do this without ever asking who Blanche is.
Then Johnny, smiling widely, tells Laura that he's going to get them that cabin in the woods. I guess he processes grief really quickly. Detective Dryden's up on the top of that cliff and he walks up to Alex, who confesses immediately to hitting that kid. But that doesn't matter to Dryden. He's going to blame Johnny for this. He stares down at Laura standing next to the body of Anthony and then shaking his head says, "The slaughter of innocents." And that's the end.
You're listening to the American International Podcast, where we're discussing Episode 7 of Rebel Highway, Dragstrip Girl.
I don't have any information on the making of this movie, aside from it was filmed in Los Angeles. Most of these movies were filmed in Southern California, maybe somewhere north, south, east of Los Angeles, but in that general vicinity.
Taglines used for the video release of this movie include Fast Cars, Faster Women.
Dragstrip Girl revs up fast and furious fun.
Nathan Rabin of the AV Club wrote that, directed by Mary Lambert, whose filmography proves that female directors can be just as creepy as their male counterparts, Dragstrip Girl offers an oddball B-movie take on Rebel Without a Cause, the ultimate exercise in mid-50s suburban teen romanticism. Lambert creates movies that straddle the line between tawdry exploitation and David Lynch-inspired experimentation. Dragstrip Girl exemplifies this strange split personality. References and allusions to Blue Velvet and Rebel Without a Cause abound, but awful dialogue, atrocious performances, and a pervasive air of all-encompassing sleaziness keep Dragstrip Girl rooted firmly in its B-movie origins. Lambert and screenwriter Jerome Gary failed to fill their evocative 50s dreamscape with sympathetic or interesting characters. Lambert seems to specialize in films that are interesting and unexpected without being good, a description that squarely sums up Dragstrip Girl.
Jonathan Rosenbaum of the Chicago Reader said of the Rebel Highway series, "The illusion of being back in the 50s or in a 50s movie is never established to begin with in episodes like Girls in Prison, Shake, Rattle, and Rock, and Dragstrip Girl. What one gets instead are attitudes and ideas about the 50s, passionately engaged in the first two, conventional and rather dull in the third," that being Dragstrip Girl. Part of the problem is the tone struck in the scripts, because the filmmakers feel compelled to make up for the fact that these people never swore or made racist remarks or took off their clothes in the originals. They usually lay these things on with a trowel here, and the characters wind up coming across as 90s archetypes in 90s movies.
Stephen H. Schuer, in his TV Tonight column, called Dragstrip Girl's plot a by-the-numbers approach. The production is filled with authentic period details, including the cars and the music. However, the mechanical screenplay and shallow characterizations work against its efforts. The performers give excruciating readings of their lines, and Wagner sticks out like a sore thumb. Wagner's mother, Natalie Wood, fared much better in a similar role in the 50s classic Rebel Without a Cause.
John Burlingame wrote that Dragstrip Girl, quote, puts a new spin on cross-cultural romance set against the illegal drag racing milieu, and that the movie begins as a Romeo and Juliet tale of a poor Latino car thief who woos a wealthy, bored Anglo girl and ends all too predictably in tragedy. I wouldn't call that ending predictable in any way.
No, but we knew it was going to end in tragedy.
Yeah, I just wasn't expecting Anthony to get knocked off the cliff, wheelchair and all. And I don't know that these reviewers were hard enough on this movie, honestly. I don't think they really established a 50s milieu. I didn't really see a lot of authentic period details outside of the cars. The music, yes, I would give them credit for that.
Yeah, the music for sure. And even Laura's house looks too big for the 50s.
It's a mansion. It's probably got about 18 rooms in there.
And even the outfits kind of had that cliche 50s aesthetic, but it didn't look real.
No,
they looked like costumes.
It looked like somebody making 50s clothes for 90s girls or guys.
Which is what we're doing. We're doing a Gen X reinterpretation of the 50s.
And that was kind of big. I don't know if so much in the 90s as in the 70s. 70s was when Happy Days came out, and there was a minor 50s revival.
Yeah, in the 90s, it was more of a 70s revival.
Yeah, we were on that 20-year track for a while. I guess now we should be reliving the 2000s.
I don't even remember the 2000s. They were so...
It was an innocent time.
It wasn't innocent. They were just... nothing happened.
Well, 9/11 happened, Jeff.
Well, yeah, I know. And that kind of just detracted from everything else.
That was what happened. That was basically it.
That was kind of like the end of the world of pop culture.
It did change a lot of things. That's immaterial to our review of this movie, but yes, you're correct. It reset all of pop culture, and not in a good way, I think. But at any rate, this movie, I'm not familiar with Mary Lambert's work. I looked her up. She's done a lot of music videos. She did Pet Sematary and Pet Sematary 2, which I don't really remember. I didn't see the second one. I only saw the first one.
I saw them both. I don't remember the second one. I remember the first because I thought it was hilarious.
And she was hilarious here, but was it intentionally hilarious?
Definitely not intentional.
Actually, I only laughed at the end of this movie. I was very bored up until then.
Yeah, we definitely didn't see any AIP Easter eggs in this at all, unless you count the title using the poster font.
No, I wouldn't count that. It may have been intentional, but it just wasn't enough to really clue you in that this was an AIP movie.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot here at all.
Even using the title Dragstrip Girl is such a ripoff. She's not a dragstrip girl. I said this earlier. She comes out there for one short race. She comes out again to pick up Johnny so he can go do something or talk anyway. And then she comes out for the last race.
Yeah, her character's boring. And that's really too bad because she should have been more rebellious. She's rebellious in that she's dating Johnny and he's from the wrong side of the tracks, but there's not really anything that grows within that. And it should be told more from her perspective. This is Johnny's story.
And not that we're supposed to compare this to the original, but in the original, the Dragstrip Girl, she raced. She was the lead character in the story. It was all about her choosing between these two guys that really neither one of them deserved her, but it was her story.
Yeah, Louise was definitely a much more interesting character.
Laura is boring. She talks like a little girl. Her interests are shallow at best, the ones that we know about anyways. She's not developed as a character. We don't know why Johnny is attracted to her outside of her looks. We don't know why she's attracted to him outside of his looks. Admittedly, he's a really good-looking guy.
Well, he's older. She does say he's a man and Alex is a boy.
Alex is a jerk and Johnny is nice to her, but there's nothing more than that going on between them. They don't even know each other. They met, they made out, they met again.
They made out again?
They danced for like a minute and then they explored a school and then they had sex and then she goes to see her boyfriend kill his brother. That's it.
This is the 7th of the Rebel Highways that we've done. And I've loved every one of them so far. And then I get to this one. My expectations were a little lower and I don't think it met my expectations.
I thought this would be like a middling movie, whereas the other ones knocked it out of the park in both of our opinions. This one, it didn't even make it to bat. Everything about this movie is wrong. The script is terrible. It's shallow. It's cliched. It's got no, like you said, no character development. There's no reason to like anybody in this movie.
And it doesn't help that the cast isn't that likable either. There's not really any names here.
Traci Lords.
Except for Traci Lords.
Who is good in her limited role of being the hooker with a heart of gold. The sexy aunt that you watch turn tricks. Why are we here? We thought that was a good idea. And this is supposed to be the 50s, and obviously men are men, but this is just gross. It's incestuous. It's weird. Watching it with your little brother, watching a woman you consider an aunt have sex with strangers, and then talking about it. Yuck.
And the whole idea where a stolen car is basically stopping society while the police go to look for it. It's the most important thing that's going on in this town is this one guy had his car stolen when apparently just 4 weeks early, less than 4 weeks. It'd been, a day since they sold another car? But nobody cares about that one.
Nope. That one's done and gone. And this one stolen car is enough to make this whole chop shop operation have to shut down and relocate in a new city. It's so hot that no one can do anything anymore. Johnny's untouchable. Well,
it was a Cadillac, obviously owned by a very rich man, so maybe that's what the difference is. Because the other car they took, it was a nice car, but it wasn't as nice.
But all the cars are basically rich people cars because they're at the supper club. That's where the rich people go to eat. It's not a diner. It's not a greasy spoon. It's not some dive. It's a place where you get dressed up and drive your best car. Give it to the valet. I don't think we have enough time to say everything that's wrong with this movie. It's just all wrong. The tone it's not serious.
Well, I wrote down in my notes here that this movie has not much drag, meaning the actual racing. The movie itself did drag.
Yes.
And even less Dragstrip Girl.
I stopped it when there was about 20 minutes to go, thinking that there were maybe 5 minutes to go. And admittedly, the credits were like 8 minutes long. But still, oh my gosh, it took forever to get to the end. It's only an hour and 15 minutes long, and it felt like 3 hours. There was some strip, though, in this movie.
Yeah.
Not that we saw any nudity, but Tracy Lords did a little striptease for her nephews. Ugh.
When they're at that Mexican club and everybody turns on Johnny, Doogie calls the cops on him. And then his story's done. We don't really see him. I think he's at the race at the end, but he has nothing to do with the story from that point forward.
I didn't see him at the race at the end.
I just assumed he was there because there was a lot of people.
Yeah, he was done with Johnny. Speaking of Johnny, I was thinking of the line from The Room, "Everybody betray me," because that's what he whined to Laura. This movie made me think of stupider movies, and that's not good. Stupider movies that I liked more than this movie.
And the allusions they made to there being a prior relationship between Pearl and Johnny. If Pearl didn't seem so desperate to be with him, they could have played that up, gave it some deeper meaning, and actually had some character development in there.
They didn't. They just made her throw herself at him over and over again, in between berating him for being stupid about the cars.
She tries to put him in his place. She reminds him, "You're poor, you're Mexican, you don't belong on that side of the city."
"No, you belong with me. I love you. Be with me."
Yeah, the whole thing's just so weird.
No characters come off looking good in this movie. Maybe Anthony, even though he's a little peeping Tom in training, but even he is so shallowly characterized. The crippled brother with a heart of gold who wants his brother to have a future with this girl he's stalking. Ugh, there's just nothing I like about this movie. Not one thing. Maybe the soundtrack. Okay, the music's good. There's a lot of Fats Domino songs in here.
And Lights Out is played 3 times. They play it at the beginning and the end and in the middle.
We're almost getting into Bobby Joe and the Outlaw music repetition territory.
But this is a much better song, so it's not as obnoxious as Those City Lights. So you don't seem too fond of this one, but how are you going to rate that using our AIP scale, where A is awesome, I is intermediate, and P is pathetic?
I've already used the word pathetic in our summation in my review. I've used it at least twice or 3 times, and I'm going to use it again. This movie is pathetic. It's such a disappointment. This is the 7th movie. We've enjoyed 6 straight movies, and that almost never happens. 6 straight, both of us giving it an A for awesome. And now this movie just drags down the average of all of these films. It's so sad. It could have been good. They could have had a lot of fun with this, but they don't do anything that makes you laugh for the right reasons. They don't do anything that makes you say, "Oh no, I hope something bad doesn't happen to this character." I knew something bad was going to happen to somebody, and I frankly couldn't wait. I was so excited to watch the ending. I didn't want Anthony to get knocked off the cliff. Oh, I'm sorry. That's so hard. I don't laugh at comedies that much. Yeah, so it's silly, shallow, stupid, unintentionally funny, and a missed opportunity all around. P for pathetic. What do you think?
Well, that ending where Anthony gets run over by the car is not well edited.
No.
And that's part of why it's so funny, because they have the zooming in close-up of Anthony's face as the car's approaching.
Oh no! Oh no, Mr. Bill.
I think that using the Dragstrip Girl is kind of a travesty using that title, because when you look at all the girl movies that AIP did with Dragstrip Girl, Sorority Girl, Hot Rod Girl, the girl is the main character in all those movies. Right. And she wasn't here. She was just, I don't know what she was.
She's
maybe an object to be attained by the main character.
The MacGuffin?
Maybe. I don't know, but this movie should not be called Dragstrip Girl. I don't know what I would call it.
Dragstrip Guy?
I think the fact that they used the title was the only reason they had to have a drag strip in it. I mean, that's why they went to the race. They could have just fought. It could have had the same outcome. I mean, obviously, fighting, you're not going to run over somebody with your car, but but you could bring a weapon to a fight and have it go awry. It could have had the same outcome.
And the fact that they had to have a drag strip race meant that they went to the next plot device of them being car thieves, which was a pretty low stakes, I would think, occupation for the bad guys in this movie. the alleged bad guys.
Yeah, there's just so much disappointing in this movie. I'm not going to give it a P, though, because P I'm reserving for movies that just really make me ill or I can't stand. And I didn't hate it. Can't say that I loved it, but I'm going to give it an I. I'm going to be a little generous.
Wow. I was almost to the point where I would have given it an I, and not even the ending, not even the knocking Anthony off the cliff part, but the way that I couldn't wait for it to be over. And I was starting to get angry that this movie was such a missed opportunity, that it wasn't about anything. Acting is so bad.
The acting is not good in this movie at all.
I know Natasha Gregson Warner grew up and became a better actress, but she's not good here. She's just a simpering little girl. And I don't know why anybody is that invested in her, whether it be Alex, her father, Johnny, whoever. I don't know why anybody cares about her. She's a pretty face, the end. That's a real missed opportunity. Not only is it not about her, but she is the dullest character in this entire movie.
Yeah, I'd have to say she is.
I'd rather see a movie about her mom, the alcoholic, than her.
And she only had one line.
You think he's Mexican?
So you gave us a pathetic, so I'm guessing that you would not recommend that people track this one down?
I would say watch the ending if you have to watch any of it. And I would be happy to hear from other people if they think that I've misjudged it. And there's a good way to do that. It's on our website, aippod.com. Not only can you contact us and get in touch with us, tell us your thoughts, but you can look at materials from the movies that we've covered, visual media, trailers, lobby cards, posters, etc. A lot more information about the movies, where to watch them, and like I said, a way to contact us. That's aippod.com. While you're there, check out our store. If you buy something, it really helps out the podcast.
Well, that's it for Dragstrip Girl. We're going to be pulling back onto the Rebel Highway with another episode next week. Until then, I'm Jeff Markin.
I'm Cheryl Lightfoot.
And we'll meet you at the drive-in. Follow the American International Podcast on Instagram and Letterboxd at AIP_pod and on Facebook at facebook.com/American International Podcast.
The American International Podcast is produced and edited by Jeff Markin.
A man whose mind is distorted by hatred.
And Cheryl Lightfoot.
A girl hungry for too many things.
The American International Podcast is part of the Pop Culture Entertainment Network.